What's up guys, it's Nicole, also known as Nikki Vegan, and in today's video I'm going to show you everything that I eat in a day as a vegan, but I'm really going to focus on two things in this video. The first is making meals out of what I have on hand so that I can avoid going to the grocery store, but I also recognize that the ingredients that I happen to have on hand are probably a little bit different than the ingredients that you have on hand. So throughout this video, I'm also going to be focusing a lot on showing you different substitutions and swaps to make it easy for you to get into your kitchen and make something delicious, even if you think you don't have anything or nothing goes together. I know that a lot of you are cooking more than ever, and it can be very overwhelming, especially if you don't feel like you have the ingredients you need. So at the end of this video, there's also a little message to any of you who are feeling that way, and I really hope you find this video helpful. So let's get started. For breakfast on this day, I wanted something savory, so I went ahead and I made mushroom toast. Now I know that you're not supposed to wash mushrooms under running water because they absorb a lot of that water and it makes it difficult to brown them later on. But these days I've been washing all of my produce, and I'll show you what I do to make sure that they still get nice and brown and flavorful. So I gave these a good wash, I shook them dry, and then I patted them dry so they were as dry as possible. And then I sliced up the whole bag because I kind of have a rule of thumb. If I have the time and I'm cooking something, I might as well just make a lot of it, and that way I don't have to cook later on in the week. I can use these for another meal either later in the day or later in the week, and I only have to cook once. So my trick here is to put the mushrooms into a very hot pan, let them sit for several minutes without stirring them around so they get a little bit of color. And because I washed them, they did give off more moisture than usual, so I just drained that into the sink, and then I put them back on the stove and let them continue cooking, and they got nice and brown. Then I added some garlic and some dried thyme to half of the mixture, and I stored the rest in a container for another meal later on. Then I wanted to have some kind of a sandwich spread for the toast, but I didn't have any hummus, I don't have any mayo, I don't even have very much avocado left, so I went ahead and I made a tahini sauce. I'll put the recipe in the description box below, but usually this just is tahini, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of lemon, and water, but you can add any spices you like to kind of change up the flavors. On this day, I added dried dill because I love lemon and dill and black pepper together. I think it's so delicious. But you can use Italian seasoning, you can use paprika, anything you like. And I usually make up a big batch of this and keep it in the fridge either as a salad dressing or to have for wraps and sandwiches. It's so versatile. It's a really good dip for roasted potatoes too. I love this stuff. So that recipe will be down below. I do this all the time, but especially these days, I freeze my bread. And this is a great way to make it last longer because especially bread like this from the farmer's market that doesn't have any preservatives, it will go bad pretty quickly. So I just slice it and I freeze it and I toast it up as I need it. And this one in particular is so delicious because it has rosemary and sea salt. So I spread a thick layer of the tahini on top, and then I piled on the mushrooms. And another great trick I have is to utilize lemon zest. We so often just use the juice and throw away the zest, and the zest is honestly the most flavorful concentrated part of the citrus fruit. And especially if you don't have a lot of sauces or condiments, you can get a lot of flavor into your meals by using the zest. So don't throw that away. Honestly, you guys, if you've never had mushroom toast, it's a great breakfast alternative. It's also nice for lunch, especially if you pair it with a salad or something like that. It's really easy to make, and you can meal prep the sauce and the mushrooms ahead of time and have this in just a few minutes. Okay, so it is lunchtime right now, and I'm in more of a snacky mood than in a lunch mood because I've been eating my meals at weird times, to be honest with you, and I just had breakfast not that long ago. But I just want to have kind of a snack now and then maybe something sweeter later on in the day, I think. But I know that I have tomatoes that I really need to use up because they're perfectly ripe and so delicious, and if I don't use them within the next day or two, they're gonna start to go bad, and I really don't want to waste food ever, but especially right now when I'm trying not to go to the store. Not sure what I'm gonna do with those, but I'm gonna have a look around and I'll get back to you. I just have this little bag of cherry tomatoes out on the counter. I washed them and then put them in this mesh bag. Honestly, cherry tomatoes, actually tomatoes of all kinds, should really be kept at room temperature. Don't put them in the fridge if you can help it because they taste so much better. When you put them in the fridge, just something weird happens to them. They lose all of their flavor, but at room temperature, it's a completely different situation. So if you think you don't like tomatoes, Make sure you're eating them at room temperature and preferably when they're nice and ripe like this. They're so sweet and delicious. One food that I've been eating a lot of is carrots, the most basic vegetable ever, but I really love root vegetables like this because they last for a long time, and there's so many different ways that you can prepare them. You can cut them up and have them like French fries, which sounds weird, but they are really, really good, almost like sweet potato fries. And another way that I'm going to show you right now that I make all of the time is to make a carrot salad. And I don't know if it's a Norwegian thing or if it's just a my family thing, but normally it's just carrots, lemon, and salt. So that's what I'm gonna do now. It's really important that you use the medium size of your grater, so you don't want to use the bigger side because that'll just make it a little bit too crunchy, and then this is just like for zest. So this makes the perfect grate. So it's like crunchy, but not too hard. When I get to this stage, I don't even try to keep grating anymore. I'll just cut off this stem and snack on this little bit of carrot. And then just 2 big pinches of salt. This gets better as it sits in the fridge too, so you can make a bunch of this and just keep it in the fridge for the week, and it honestly just gets better and better. Graters are not hard to clean if you immediately run them under hot water after using them. The trouble is if you let them sit, it will kind of harden and it'll become really, really nightmarish to clean. But if you just immediately take this and run it under hot water, you'll have no problems. Ta-da! Just hot water. The thing with this carrot mixture is that it looks like there's no way that it could possibly be delicious, like it's just carrots, but there's something about this texture that is so, so good. It's so good. You're just gonna have to try it. That's all there is to it. So here's my little snack plate, or part 1 of it. I basically just put a bunch of fresh, vibrant vegetables on a plate. I was really craving fresh, crunchy, raw foods. I think it's because I've been inside so much and it's been kind of rainy and gray. I just wanted something that was really vibrant and alive. So I took some cherry tomatoes, some cold crunchy cucumber, one of my favorite foods in the world, half of an avocado, and some of that cucumber salad. I say some because I had about twice the amount you see on that plate. I drizzled a little bit of EVOO, extra virgin olive oil, some salt and pepper over everything, and then I had a piece of toast. I had another piece of that same sourdough toast with a piece of vegan cheese on top. A whole piece of cheese almost never makes it onto the bread because I eat it while the bread is toasting. Okay, it's a little bit later now, and I've been thinking that I really, really want ice cream, but I don't have any ice cream in the house. And it's not just that I want ice cream, it's that I want a sundae, like with chocolate sauce and like crunchy things on top, like textural, delicious, crunchy bits all throughout it. I don't have anything like that on hand right now. No, I don't. But I think that I can make something. Maybe I'm gonna experiment. It might be a disaster, but I think it's gonna be good. So I don't have chocolate sauce, so I'm just gonna make a little bit of my own, but I'm gonna show you what to do also if you don't have chocolate chips in a second. But if you do have chocolate chips or even a chocolate bar, you just pour, you don't really have to measure this, 2 tablespoons. And then I'm gonna make a chocolate sauce with just the tiniest little bit of coconut oil. So this little bit of coconut oil is gonna help make it into a sauce, and then I'm just gonna pop this in the microwave. Okay, this isn't ready yet, but you wanna stir it after 20 seconds and then pop it back in. And then it still has a few lumps. You don't wanna microwave until there are no lumps because then it will actually be too dry. Once it's a little bit lumpy and almost fully melted, I'll just keep stirring and it will melt outside of the microwave. And what's cool is that the heat from the chocolate already is what's gonna finish melting those last few little chocolate chips so that you don't burn your chocolate. Look at that gorgeous chocolate sauce. I have this old container that used to have hazelnuts in it, and it's become kind of a catch-all in my refrigerator for any random nuts or seeds that I haven't used yet, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and use them now. I'm gonna finish with a little sprinkle of sea salt. If you don't have sea salt, you can use cinnamon or nothing. Doesn't really need it, but I love a little sea salt on a dessert. Melted coconut oil, a tablespoon of cacao, and 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. And there you go, chocolate sauce. This is actually even better than I was expecting it to be. It's not ice cream, but it's really good. It has a lot of the same like texture and creamy and cold and crunchy and sweet and chocolatey-ness that an ice cream sundae has. So it's not an ice cream sundae, but it's really good. And it's healthy, you know? Yeah. So recently I've been making a lot of wraps because it's a really great way to kind of use up what you have in the fridge, and really anything tastes good in a wrap. So I had some leftover refried beans. I went ahead and put that down with some vegan cheese. This was the only one that was available at the grocery store, and it melts really nicely. So I put that on top of the beans, and then I added some of the mushrooms that I cooked earlier in the day, and I popped that in the microwave just to warm up the tortilla and to melt the cheese. All right, greetings from the future, guys. So I actually prepped this for tacos because I still had tortillas, and I thought I would throw it into this video just to show you an alternative if you don't have mushrooms on hand or you don't have veggies you can make burritos with. This is basically an alternative to taco meat. So what you're gonna do is just take some tofu and some tempeh, crumble it up in a pan. I literally just break it up with my hands like that into a hot pan with some garlic. I add just store-bought taco seasoning and some tomato paste just to give it a nice depth of flavor. I know it's like not the prettiest thing, but neither is regular taco meat, let's be honest. And then I just add nutritional yeast and a little bit of salsa because it already has the tomatoes and the onions chopped up. And that's it, salt and pepper. If you have crushed walnuts, I know it sounds crazy, I'm telling you, it's delicious. In this and all kinds of ground beef alternatives, so a lot of times I'll add walnuts, but yeah. Then I just keep this in the fridge and I make taco salads or I make nachos or whatever. But I just wanted to show you in case you guys need another alternative. Then I added the little bit of avocado that I had, some more of those tomatoes from earlier, and a bit of red onion, and I wrapped this all up with a bit of hot sauce. This is especially good to remember if you don't have salsa, you can use hot sauce and it will have a similar effect. You could also use some plain vegan yogurt instead of sour cream, and you can also make a cashew nacho cheese sauce if you want. I will put my recipe in the description box below. Then I had some leftover sweet potato fries. I had more than this, trust me. I was just eating them while I was making my wrap because I was really hungry. And I just dipped this in some ketchup. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that it gave you some good ideas. I know that it can be very overwhelming to get into the kitchen, especially if you don't think you have all the ingredients that you need to make a quote-unquote proper meal. But I promise if you go into it with a little bit of creativity and you really try to make the most of what you have, you'll probably come up with something delicious. It might be a little unusual, like my yogurt ice cream sundae, whatever that was, but honestly, that was great. And it was kind of like a healthier version of an ice cream sundae. So it's something that I'm gonna remember for the next time I want an ice cream sundae, but I want a healthier spin on that. And these are the times where you come up with cool ideas like that, is when you're really trying to be creative and utilize what you have on hand. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't really have to go together. I mean, sweet potato fries with ketchup and a burrito, not necessarily the most conventional combination, but it's delicious. So eat what you love, have fun with it. And if you guys have been coming up with creative recipes, please let me know in the comments, especially if you've come up with some cool combos that you're gonna make again, or if there have been some epic disasters. I would love to hear all about that. So leave that in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Have fun cooking, and I will see you guys in a video very soon. Bye.